Debbie Georgianni. And Debbie, when you just came on the video screen there, I was startled by that beautiful colorful shirt. What is it, a sweater that you have on? Or?
No, it's a shirt, but everybody's commenting at EWTN that it's very, very colorful. It is. It has it's like a tapestry of amazing bright neon colors, red and green and orange and blue.
All right, everybody, you got to get over to YouTube or Facebook and check this out. This is full color Debbie today on the program.
It's very loud.
If you watch the video stream, yeah.
Yes. Well, because most people are used to me in black, white, and red, right? Because those are my three favorite colors for clothing. And now this is vastly different. So you can say if you like it or not, but don't tell me personally. I get hurt easily.
Well, welcome to the program on this
Hello.
Tuesday, and it is the feast of St. Thomas Aquinas today.
That's right.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the existence of God. And some people, Debbie was letting me know today that she was getting text messages from my post at take2show.com where I made a mention of the great philosopher and theologian St. Thomas Aquinas, again, whose feast day is today. And he came up with his 5 ways to prove the existence of God without using faith, without using Scripture, the magisterium. And, of course, ancient philosophers going back millennia have arrived at the existence of God without the use of faith as well. And I guess some people were thinking, oh my, are we going to be trying to unpack St. Thomas's 5 ways to prove the existence of God? Yeah, no, I made a reference to that, but then I took the conversation in a little bit of a different direction. I said, that's not what we're going to be talking about. We want to know today, Take Two family, on a very real lived experience level, how has God made his presence known to you? Has there been an event in your life, a series of events? We're not talking about apparitions or voices or anything. We're just talking about as you go through your daily life over the years, tell us, has there been a time when, God just really reinforced his love for you, his presence in your life? Here's the number to call if you would like to share on the program, 833-288 EWTN, 833-288-3986. Did I get that fairly close to right, Debbie?
You did. It was
good.
fabulous. Yeah, that's perfect. So when we're not talking about like where you can excuse things off as maybe just a coincidence or something of that nature, where you really you knew deep in your heart that God is present, God exists, he has shown himself in your life or your situation. We want to talk about this because we really think it could help people along on their spiritual journey and just reinforce their confidence in God, that he is there. He is with us. And so it's important we have these kinds of conversations because there are a lot of young ears listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and this could help them along on their spiritual formation. So please, if you have something to say about this where you really just know and you have maybe some concrete examples in your life of God being present, he exists, please share now at 833-288-3986. We're not going to put you on the spot and ask you any heady theological questions about the 5 proofs of God's existence. We're going to have just a conversation like you were in our virtual living room and you were just relaxing and we were just tossing out this idea about how God shows himself.
Yeah, this is what Take Two with Jerry and Debbie is about. We talk about real life things here. We certainly, if you've got a brief thought you want to share on one of Thomas's 5 ways, that's fine. But we're talking about just experiential as we go through the years. Faith is a gift, and we have to receive that gift. As some people say, we have to open the gift and make use of it. But it's total gift. It's a total grace from God. And we always say those who have not maybe received that or acted upon that, we say, but for the grace of God go I. So God gives us the gift of faith in himself. It's not something that we do on our own. But sometimes we go through life and, maybe we never waver in our belief in God or that he's there for us and helping us. But sometimes, when he may look at us, Debbie, and think that, all right, so-and-so needs a little bit of a reminder that I'm here for them, and he does provide us with those beautiful signs sometimes.
Jerry, why do you think some people don't open the gift or some people don't? I mean, I guess explain for our listeners' sake what you mean by they haven't received the gift. Who gets exempt from receiving the gift.
Actually, yeah, maybe I misspoke. I shouldn't say they haven't received the gift. I follow that up by saying, some people don't act upon that gift. And think about it. I mean, it's like we talk about birthdays, Christmas, things like that. If somebody gives you a gift, it's nicely wrapped. You don't put it up on a shelf and admire it and just say, this is a great gift that somebody gave me, and never even open it up and use what the person gave to you. And so faith for us is a gift. And through faith, and of course, baptism is the normal way for us to be come into a membership in the family of God and get on that path toward eternal salvation. Why some people don't act upon that, Debbie,
Explore
I don't
the gift.
know.
Mm-hmm.
It humbles me. It humbles me to think that God has given me this great gift, and He has had to give me grace upon grace to, act upon that in my life.
Yeah. That's a great topic too. We should add that to the show calendar. Okay, so I'm gonna say something here, and I just feel it strongly. I don't think Satan wants us to do this topic, because every time we know that a topic is going to impact many souls, strange technology things happen, and my computer is just going nuts right now with the call screening program that we have, and it's, if you could see it on my end, you would go, okay, this is not of God. And I just wanted to say that this means that this is going to be a very important conversation. I just feel it. So folks, let's hang on with this and let's see where this takes us, because this could be maybe a soul changing conversation. I just feel it.
Well, the number for you to call, and I should say when a line becomes available, because the phones are busy already. We're going to get to your calls momentarily here. That toll-free number is 833-288-3986. There are other ways you can participate. If you're looking at Debbie's beautiful full-color shirt that she's wearing on Facebook or YouTube on the video streams, you can comment there. You can post a comment at take2show.com. You can text the letters EWTN to 55000. It might be a small data rate. And, of course, our email address is take2@EWTN.com. So we're just about set to get underway. We will take your call starting with Ann in Houston when we come back, talking about proving the existence of God. How has He acted, moved in some way in your life to where you just said, wow, God, you are so real to me. 833-288-3986.
Now there's a fast and easy way to get in touch with EWTN. The EWTN Everything number. Call 1-800-447-EWTN to get the latest information on programming, special events, pilgrimages, and more. Our EWTN Family Viewer Services representatives are ready to help you with whatever your needs may be. The EWTN Everything number. 1-800-447-EWTN. EWTN.
He was a Jesuit, a cardinal, and a doctor of the Church.
Matthew Bunson and the Doctors of the Church.
St. Robert Bellarmine is honored for his immense contributions to theology, including helping to draft 2 important catechisms that defended church teachings during the Protestant Revolt. Pope Clement VIII named Bellarmine a cardinal because, as the Pope put it, Bellarmine had not his equal for learning.
For more about the Doctors of the Church, visit doctorsofthechurch.com.
Prayer can take on many different forms. It could be a simple gaze up to the heavens, glorifying God for the beauty of His creation. It could be a cry for help in time of need. It could be a request for some good that you think you need in your life. All these things can be spontaneous and informal. But prayer can also be formal, as in the Our Father, which Jesus taught us to pray, and the highest formal prayer, the sacrifice of the Mass.
We are so glad you're with us here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. And one of the programs on EWTN television that is also simulcast on radio is EWTN News Nightly. And if you're anything like me, and I can probably speak for Debbie, we're all kind of going crazy with all the news and the coverage and the impeachment and the crazy stuff going on in the world. It's really nice to be able to cut through all of that and look at it from a Catholic perspective, and that's what Tracy Sable and the team do on EWTN News Nightly. So it's tonight and every night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, heard on many of these same EWTN radio stations. It's really the first newscast that I go to every day.
Yep. Okay, so I visited YouTube. There's a lot of folks chatting and viewing YouTube and Facebook, and so comments are already coming in. But I actually was a little shocked when I saw YouTube how bright how bright my shirt is. You're right. We need sunglasses. I'm going to come back on the next break with sunglasses on.
Okay.
Did we get an interesting email that came in already?
Yeah, as a matter of fact. So, Anne, hang on. We're going to get to you first on the phones. But Lisa emailed, hello, Debbie and Jerry. She puts Debbie first. I think that's only fitting, especially with an outfit like that. She says, my youngest son is going through confirmation classes and has not been engaging in the classes or even trying to participate. Well, this past weekend was his confirmation retreat, and he hated having to go to a weekend without electronics. When he got back on Sunday, he gave me the longest hug and apologized for his attitude. He said that he had an awesome time and wants to go to the spring retreat. And Lisa finishes, Debbie, by saying, God is so awesome, exclamation mark. That is a beautiful sign of the work and presence of God in their family's life, especially her son. That's beautiful.
Well, think about it for a minute. When anybody gets attached to something and they rely on something and they're dependent on something like their phones or technology, when you're pulled away from it, there's a sense of loss. There's a sense of, what do I do now? I feel like I don't know, where to, you're looking around going, where is it? It's not within reach. But it's very interesting, when I was in youth ministry, so many times when kids teens would be about 15, 20 minutes, okay, of away from everything, all the distractions, Jerry, all of a sudden they craved silence. They craved being with our Lord. They really got into the meditative side of prayer, and they didn't want to leave. In fact, a lot of teens fell asleep, and some people would say, how rude, how disrespectful. No, not exactly. That's not exactly what happens. They get so relaxed. It feels so right. And that's the beauty of it. So, I highly suggest if you could kind of, pull your teens away from this stuff periodically, I think it's very beneficial, especially spiritually. So that was a great email.
Okay, we're going to go to your phone calls here, talking about the existence of God, today being the feast of St. Thomas Aquinas, one of the greatest minds and thinkers in human history. And he had his 5 ways or 5 proofs of the existence of God. We're not going in that direction, but we want to go from just a lived experience standpoint and find out how God has really kind of bolstered your faith and really given you that sense that, wow, God, you're real, you're a part of my life, you're active, you have a plan for me. 833-288-3986. So we're going to start with Ann in Houston, as promised, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Ann. Welcome to Take 2.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So I have a great story for you. So many years ago, we had some friends over for dinner, and they put their little baby to sleep in our bedroom next to my dresser. And so their baby was sleeping. I had to bathe our little one. And so I took my engagement ring off and put it on the dresser. And I just opened the door real quietly when their baby was sleeping and put it on the dresser. And then I went and bathed my baby and put her to bed. And we had the rest of the evening together. And then they left after a while. And then I went back to find my ring, and it wasn't there. So that was like in September. And so I looked all over under the dresser, all around. I called her up, and I said, listen, I cannot find my ring. And it was on the dresser next to where your baby was sleeping, but I'm wondering if maybe it got brushed into the porta-crib when you guys were putting it up, or what, something happened. And she said, well, let me look. And she looked through her car, through everything, through the porta-crib, the baby's clothes, the diaper bag, everything. And she couldn't find it. And so I said, well, I'm talking to God now. And then I'm saying, Lord, I always walk around saying, you give things and then you take them, and we have to be open and we have to be willing and all of that. So I tried that in my own psyche for about a month. And then I finally said, okay, God, we have to have a talk. So I just prayed, and I said, I don't care about this ring because of the ring. I care about this ring because of my marriage. And I am going to ask you, of course, we're heading toward Advent by then. And I said, I know that you gave us your son, and that is the greatest gift for Christmas. I mean, that's the greatest gift ever. So for any time. But I would also ask you if there's any way that this is okay for you to give me my ring back for Christmas. And I just prayed for it. And I prayed several times between that first time and Christmas Day. And I still hadn't found my ring. And anyway, so that all happened that in Fort Worth and Dallas. That's where I was living at the time. Came to Houston to see my parents for Christmas. And, of course, we didn't have cell phones then. So anyhow, that morning the house phone rang. And it's my friend in Dallas yelling and screaming that she found my ring Christmas morning in her garage. And she said, I walked in my garage, and there was the ring, and it was under, the light was coming in the garage, and it was under a beer can or something, reflected into her eyes. And she just couldn't believe it. So anyway, that was my miracle, and I love that story because God cares about things that we care about that are right, and he gives us those consolations so that all of our lives we can remember those things and remember that He's listening. He's listening. He doesn't always say yes to everything we want, but He's listening.
Right. And He's present. And here's the thing, and those things happen to us personally, and we take them very personal, but they're also to help others. And so right. I see so many elements of your story that I think are pertinent for all of us to take note of and to realize how maybe God works. Okay, the first thing I just wanted to say is, you were so beautiful. What a beautiful soul to say, it's not the ring I care about, it's my marriage, and that's a beautiful thing. But I personally think that the turning point for your connection with God is when you said, okay, God, we've got to have a talk. Okay. And you know what? Yeah. I believe in my heart of hearts, that's what God wants from us. He wants that familiar, that loving, that connection, that, how we would talk to our spouse or how we would talk to our children or the people that are the closest around us, that real true intimacy where you don't have to be so formal sometimes. Now, respectful, yes, but you don't have to be so formal. So I think there's a real big element there that stands out for me. The other thing too is I think this story was not only meant for you and your family, but I think it was meant for your friend who found the ring in her garage. I think there's something there. I don't know what it is. I don't know where her spirituality is or her family's spirituality, but I would constantly, if you think of it, Anne, I would constantly remind your friend of this story from time to time because I think there's a connection there. Do you sense that as well?
Yes, I mean we had been we were single together, and we were in a Catholic lay community, and very zealous for the Lord ourselves and her husband and all of us. We were all kind of on the Jesus freak plan. So anyway, we always loved the Lord together. So it did inspire us all. And she and her husband have been in ministry all of their marriage, and so, those kind of things do. They reinforce that the Lord cares, He loves us, and He is there. And yes, I think that if it's items that are just things that we've become attached to, that He does want us to just trust Him and let go of things and not be attached to things. But when it's things that are meaningful to us, I think that He cares about that, and He cares. He wants our hearts set right. So I think it was right for me to say, Lord, just like you were saying, I think it was right for me to say, Lord, I care about this ring because of my marriage. And I think He was so merciful to me to give it back.
Well, and
So,
Anne, the thing
I'm
that really jumped out at me is how it was a very sensitive situation there. You had to find a way to ask your friend, hey, did you happen to see this, without making any, implying that, maybe she had taken it or done something with it. And it sounds like, you handled it just the right way, and she took it just the right way, which is very, very, very fortunate. Just real quickly, you have just reminded me, Anne, of something that this is how God did something similar with me. My uncle was a Redemptorist priest in Thailand for 50 years. And after his passing, for Christmas one year, I was given his ring. He had a very simple silver ring with just a raised cross on it. And at my brother-in-law's house, I lost it, and I didn't know what happened to it. And for months and months, this went by, and I just said, Larry, if you happen to see this, please, I want to have that ring back if it's God's will. He was doing laundry, and he saw, that rubber seal around those front-loading laundry. There was a little glimmer, a little flicker of a glimmer of light, and he looked down there, and it was stuck in there. And this is your story
so
reminded me of
beautiful.
that. So I'd obviously, washed some shorts or some clothes, with the ring in there. But that to me was just a real powerful reminder. My uncle was just a saintly man, and so you've really jogged my mind about a beautiful memory. And thank you so much.
That's good. You're welcome. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Thank you, Anne, and thank you for the work, the ministry work that you do. So we appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Building up the kingdom. And I love it. I love it. Okay, we're getting more emails that come in. Folks, we say this pretty much every show now, and that's because we get an abundance of emails and messages on Facebook, YouTube, you text messages in as well. So we read pretty much everything that comes in. Even we check the spam filter on a regular basis because we have some high filters on some of the emails coming in, and we check everything. But we're not going to be able to respond to everything, so please know that. Please forgive us. If you have to get to us, just keep trying and we'll make it happen somehow. But I know we're getting emails coming in pretty quick on this topic, Jerry.
We are, and we'll get to some more of them, but we have many, many phone calls as well. Danielle is in Nashua, New Hampshire, first-time caller to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Danielle. Welcome to our program.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Sure. Can't wait to hear what you have to share.
Yeah, so my husband and I have now been married for going on 19 years, and when we were first married, we struggled with infertility for about 6 years before we really wanted to open ourselves up to God's will and really focus on the fact that really what we wanted was a beautiful baby to raise and not necessarily a pregnancy. And we adopted our son, and he was 3 days old. And then when he was around, 8 or 9 years old, we were very happy. Life was great, very blessed. God had blessed us in so many ways. And I had the opportunity, my husband and I both had the opportunity to go on Crucio. And as part of that, I was meeting with a women's group, and we were talking about the teachings of the faith when it came to Mary. And, I had a lot of questions. And one of the women there recommended that I read the 30 Days to Morning Glory. And, I was a little hesitant at first. So she said, just read it. And, there is at the end, there's a consecration prayer if that's something you decide to do. But why don't you, just start reading it and see where it takes you. So I started reading it, and I absolutely loved the experience. Spoke to me in so many ways, reinforced so many things that I had been taught through my life, but being able to see it through a different lens. And so at the end, I decided, I want to do this. I want to formally consecrate myself to Christ, and through Mary's intercession. And so in order to do that, the way the formula is in the book, you would go to Mass on a Marian feast day, and this was the Feast of the Holy Rosary. But it was a Wednesday night after 5:30. I'd gone to work all day, getting the family settled in, and I said to my husband, where am I going to go to Mass now? So we went online, and we found that there was a Spanish Mass at one of the churches downtown, St. Louis, that I had never been to. So he said, don't worry about it. I got, things to say here. Why don't you go to Mass? So I went to Mass downtown, and I walked into the church, and on the wall was a huge mural of Our Lady of Guadalupe. So I said, okay, I think where I belong. And
Danielle, if you can pause just for 1 second there. I apologize, Danielle. I see where this is going, and I am so excited to hear more about this. We just have to hit the pause button here. We can't do anything about this one right here. So Danielle, hang on. Sorry to do that to you, but I'm looking forward to hearing how this comes out for you and your husband. And we have Linda and Dean and Betty and Mary and Mike. We're going to try to get to all of you today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Back.
The National Catholic Register is America's most complete Catholic news source with a comprehensive view of the world from a distinctly Catholic perspective. If it's shaping the world as we know it, you'll find it at ncregister.com.
I'm Jerry Usher.
And I'm Debbie Georgiani. We want to tell you about the Inspired by Faith Book Club.
Join us as we gather together and read a featured inspirational book each month and engage in meaningful discussions together.
Want to participate? The details are simple and can be found at jerryanddebbie.com by clicking on the Book Club tab.
Invite your friends and let's spend some quality time in fellowship with the Inspired by Faith Book Club at jerryanddebbie.com.
Hi, I'm Doug Keck, and this is an EWTN Bookmark Brief. I just finished speaking with Jimmy Akin about his book, A Daily Defense, 365 Days Plus One to Becoming a Better Apologist. Jimmy, tell us, what's the style of this book? How did you do it?
It's a 365-day book, so every day we start with a single page devoted to that day. At the top of the page is a challenge, either to the Catholic faith specifically or the Christian faith more generally. Mm-hmm. And then there's a response to show you how, when someone gives you this challenge, you can respond to them with confidence and with evidence.
Okay, people can look forward to that throughout a whole year. A Daily Defense, 365 Days Plus One to Becoming a Better Apologist. Jimmy Akin of Catholic Answers, thank you so much for joining us. And the book's available through our EWTN Religious Catalog. EWTNRC.com is the place. Look for the entire interview coming soon on the network. And this has been a Bookmark Brief. Thanks for stopping by.
Hi, this is Janet Williams. You don't have to be a woman to enjoy Women of Grace tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern here on EWTN Radio. Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Okay, we're not going to keep you waiting any longer because we're halfway through this discussion and we both decided that we're going to need to do a part 2 on this. Absolutely. The messages are just coming in very fast and we're speaking with Danielle in New Hampshire. We've got Linda waiting and Dean and Betty and Mary and others, and we just can't do that to you. So we want to be respectful and hear your stories and learn from your real life experiences. So we're going to do a part 2 tomorrow. So all the other topics will get moved down the calendar. So back to Danielle in New Hampshire. Okay, Danielle, pick up about 10 seconds, rewind about 10 seconds, and finish your absolutely beautiful, inspiring story.
Okay, so as I was sharing, I read the 33 Days to Morning Glory, and I was going to Mass on the last day to say the consecration prayer and consecrate my life to Christ through Mary's intercession. And the church that I chose to go to, I had never been to before. And when I walked in, there was a huge mural of Our Lady of Guadalupe on the wall. And so I participated in Mass. And at the end of Mass, I took out my book and I said the consecration prayer. And then as I was leaving the church, halfway between the church and the parking lot, I remember saying, God, life is really good. I'm almost 40. I have a wonderful job. You've blessed me with a beautiful family. I honestly don't know if I want this anymore. But if it's your will, I'm still open to getting pregnant. So I walked out and went on with my life. And about a month and a half later, I was feeling tired, so I went to bed early, and I fell asleep watching television. And when I woke up, it was revealed to me that I was pregnant, which I was in total disbelief. this can't be possible. I must be just, swirling my head, something I watched on the TV show last night. But I went downstairs and I took out a pregnancy test, and it came back positive. And I took 5 more pregnancy tests.
Just to make sure.
All came back positive. Yes. Yeah. And so we found out that we were pregnant. I was able to get connected with an amazing Catholic OBGYN in Concord, New Hampshire, and who really believed in working to support life from the moment of conception. And she was able to work with me to provide, pregnancy supporting drugs that we thought I may need because of my history, and that my local doctors would not provide until I was 14 weeks along. And we ended up having a beautiful, healthy baby boy. And so now it's 3 years later, and or almost 4, and I have a beautiful 3.5-year-old and a beautiful 12.5-year-old boy, and it's more than I could have ever imagined.
Wow. Danielle, what an amazing story. I have to say, I mean, not exactly in the same, details, but I've heard this story frequently about this idea of people really striving to conceive a child of their own, and they hold so tightly to these dreams and this idea and this desire, and then they adopt, and everything's going along beautifully. Their family is expanding through adoption, and then all of a sudden, naturally, there's a pregnancy, and it's just so beautiful. But in your story with the 33 days to morning glory, my Father Michael Gately's consecration, there's so many elements to it that I think we can all learn from, Danielle, if we may. And that is that, this idea that sometimes for what we think our lives should be, and the plan that we have for our own lives, and what we've always envisioned when we were young, and we think this is how it has to be, once we let go, but let God. So it's not let go. See, I think sometimes people get nervous when you say let go because they think that's the end of it. It's let go and let God, So you're basically not letting go. You're turning it over to God. You're surrendering, right, Danielle?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it was when we were dealing with the infertility, and before we came to the decision to adopt, it was a grieving process. It was that letting go and trusting that God had a plan, and it was all going to be good, and He was going to be able to say yes to us in ways that we'd never expect, and He certainly has done that.
Well, I just share what Debbie said. It's absolutely beautiful and inspiring, and I can relate to. I can appreciate so much of it. But the one thing I can relate to, Danielle, is when you said you did the pregnancy test 5 more times, because I'm kind of like that with God. I'll be saying, God, can I just have some kind of an indication that this is the right decision or the right move to make? And I get this unmistakable. Debbie will vouch for this. I get this unmistakable sign, and then I'll go along for a little while and say, just one more time, God, maybe.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
Well, beautiful. God bless you and your beautiful family,
boys.
Danielle. Thanks for being with us on the program. We appreciate that.
Yeah, Danielle, it's
Thank
near
you
and
for
dear.
having me.
Yeah, near and dear to me because I have 2 boys and they're 6.5 years apart, so I can totally relate. If it's a beautiful thing to have those 2 boys.
It is. Thank you so much. And it's a wonderful program today. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Danielle.
While we're on the topic there, for any couples who are having problems with fertility, Debbie and I are very, very quick to refer you to the Pope Paul VI Institute. He's now St. Paul VI Institute. It's in Omaha, Nebraska. They specialize in a course of treatment called NAPRO technology, or a form of trying to conceive in natural ways. So if you have this challenge going on in your own life, we certainly encourage you to go to Pope Paul VI for the 6th, PopePaulVI.com, and you can get information there.
And right now, you can also ask St. Gerard to help as well.
That's right.
Great intercessor for this cause. Okay, so we're going to move on to Linda, and Linda has been waiting so patiently. Oh, wow, Linda, you're going to almost get. Yeah, you can share the Patience Award, Linda, in Northville, Michigan, on Ave Maria Radio. So it's a virtual award. We're sending it to you, Linda. Congratulations. Welcome.
Well, thank you. I'll be happy to share it with whoever.
It's Dean.
Hey, it's better
Dean
than an
right
Oscar. It's better than a Grammy. It's better than any of those highfalutin awards you could win.
That's right.
I am truly honored. I have goosebumps. You should see them. They're huge. Well, I'll make it quick because I know you have an awful lot of people that would like to share too. So my story is a quick one also. And I had woken up. This probably goes back 15 years or more ago. And I woke up and just in a really horrible mood. Everything was going wrong. And I really felt like, I'm going to call in work today. I'm just not feeling it. And then I started thinking, that's not right. You're putting more work on your coworkers. I work in a restaurant. And I thought, okay, just, pull it together, Linda. Just get your butt in there and do your job. And I drug myself in there. And, of course, there's no parking space. Just another thing to be mad about. Drove around and around and around. I finally found a parking space, and I get out of my car. I'm really feeling sorry for myself. And as I put my foot down, after I opened the door, I look down, and here's one of those bright red buttons that says, "You are loved." Right there, face up, unscratched. And I thought, oh, my gosh. And I just looked up at the sky with tears in my eyes, and I thought, that was there from God. That's my gift for today, for pulling it together and doing the right thing and going in, And so I just was, I still have it to this day. It's taped on my mirror in my bedroom, and I don't even know what that campaign was all about. But I know it was put there for me, and it was kind of like my little reward for stop feeling sorry for yourself, suck it up, and get going, Buttercup,
You are a breath of fresh air, Linda. Thanks for calling, and thanks for sharing that. And yeah, it's beautiful how God, sometimes it takes us making a move, making a decision, acting in a certain way, and then we see that. If you had stayed home, Linda, you never would have seen that.
That's right.
And as Debbie knows, I'm really big on, I don't try not to go overboard, but I'm big on, if I see things or experience things. But the thing is, if you're not actively moving and going on with life like Linda was in this situation, Debbie, she wouldn't have found that. And like that could make just even the little thing like that can make such a big difference.
Absolutely. Well, and I want to just add to that, Linda, please, may I do this? Because a lot of people do receive these personal indications that God loves them and signs and symbols through other people or through tangible objects like you received. And then the world sets in. Okay, then logic, and how you start to deal with it, process it, and doubt and everything, and you start to think, well, it really probably was for anybody. Maybe there was a million buttons in the parking lot, and I just happened to see the one there. I don't believe that. I'll tell you what, Linda, I've been in ministry for over 30 years, and you talk about feeling the Holy Spirit and having goosebumps. I'll tell you what, I've seen it so many times that, in my humble opinion, Linda, that was meant for you. That was meant for Linda. Absolutely. And that's the key to knowing God's presence. God is personal to each and every one of us. Yes, he's this massive, big God. I get it. And sometimes we feel like a little speck in the universe, and what do we really matter, right? But we do matter to God. And I believe that particular sign was meant for you and only for you. I believe that. And I hope you do feel that deeply as well. It sounds like you do, but I hope if you ever have any doubts, you take out that button and remember that, Linda. What do you think?
Absolutely. That's my little happy sign for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I hope it gives people inspiration. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a blessed Tuesday. It is Tuesday, right?
It is.
It is. Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. Call anytime.
With your good work.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much. Take care.
Thank you, Linda. Bless your heart. We are going to continue on as quickly as we can here. Dean is in Illinois listening on Sirius XM 130.
And he
Hello,
shares
Dean.
the Patience Award with Linda.
Yeah, you get to, Dean and then Betty, you'll all get to share the Patience Award today. But we're going to go next to Dean, who, as I said, is listening in Illinois. Hi, Dean. Welcome to the program.
How are you folks doing?
Better now that you called, Dean. Thanks for your patience there.
That's right. I'm in my mid-70s, and this happened about 25 years ago. Now, I'm a little nervous, so I hope I don't get tongue-tied here.
You'll be fine.
And this might be hard for you folks to believe, but anyway, I went to a concert, downtown concert, where they had a few bands, a lot of people there. And when I first walked in, I run into these four couples I knew real well. Right off the bat, something was said that was really hurtful, devastating, and they were laughing, and I had to play along with them, show them it didn't bother me. So after I got done talking, I went back to my car. I was in tears. My car was about 6 blocks away downtown. I get past this Catholic church, and I stop, and I'm crying, and I said, Lord, how could you let this happen? And I kept on walking, got into my car, went home. At the time I was living in an efficiency apartment with a kitchen and living room and a kitchenette, what they call it. I go to the refrigerator, get a bottle of water, and on the wall by the door I have a cross, wooden cross with a metal Christ, weighs about 1.5 pounds. And I've been through that door thousands and thousands of times. I lived there 20 years. But anyway, I'm taking a drink of the water, and I look at the cross is at a 45-degree angle sitting there. And it's supposed to be straight up and down with gravity. So I walk over and I look at the cross, and it's sitting there 45, and I said, how could this be? And I kind of hit it a little bit, and it's sticking to the wall. So I broke it loose, straight up and down, and I said, how could this happen? So I opened the door. I slammed the door back and forth. It's never moved. And right then, I said, either intervention, guardian angel, or whatever, it soothed me. But no pain. And I said, how could this cross either intervention or spirit, guardian angel? And, and it just relieved me. Boom. I mean, I was devastated, crying, but this cross was at weighed 1 pound, a little over 1 pound. It couldn't, especially sticking to the wall. I had to break it loose. Just nudge it to break it loose. So that's telling me right then there is a God. Now, I don't know if you guys believe that or not, but I told 2 priests, 2 friends through the years, and the priest told me that maybe I was somebody special. I don't know. But there is a God.
Well, yeah, Dean, I will tell you that this is just me speaking from being in, like I said, ministry for over 30 years. I do believe it. And you are special, you are special to God, and that's a personal gift to you and a revelation to you, and that can reinforce your faith and confidence in God. And Dean, I think it is very, very special, and it is meant again for you, for Dean, and it's meant for you to tell others what you have experienced and what it has done in your life. Not so much to say, now here's the reason when priests and other people in leadership receive these testimonies from people that they have had these real clear-cut encounters with signs and things that have happened about God. A lot of times priests will say, keep that to yourself. This is for you because it's a personal revelation. And the reason why is because we don't want other people to say, well, how come it didn't happen to me? It didn't happen to me. It happened to Dean. So Dean must be, more special to God than Jerry is, or this way. There starts to be this human nature that sets in. That's not true. It's just not true. This was a time in your life, in your spiritual life, that the good Lord had to show himself for you. And whether it was your guardian angel that helped out with that or whatever happens, it was meant for you and for your spiritual growth and for your understanding. And that's precious, and that's beautiful, and it's personal, and it's yours, and it'll never change. Right? Go ahead.
They say when you're in pain, sometimes he's there for you. And I was in so much pain, and he relieved it just like that.
Exactly.
Like that.
Well, pain. Let me just add one thing. Pain. When you're in really serious pain, there'll be things like this that happen. Also, serious doubt. Okay, when you look at when there's stories of when priests during consecration would sometimes doubt if it's the real presence of Jesus. And what happened? There was a Eucharistic miracle that happened. God, actually, it started bleeding, and it started. Why did that have to happen? Because there was a real serious doubt that set in that could affect a lot of people, right? So God showed Himself very clearly, just like I believe God showed Himself very clearly in your life, Dean, at a time when you needed it. And I hope you always hold on to that throughout the rest of your years here on this earth, because that is huge. And God bless you for sharing it today. Jerry?
Well, I can't add to what Debbie said, Dean, except just to say that, it just strikes me that God chose to show Himself to you in that manner through the crucifix. Because you were in great pain, you were in great suffering, and of course Jesus suffered intensely for all of us, and so it was kind of like a way of saying, I've got this, I'm with you in your suffering, we're united in your suffering. I'm so glad that it brought you the peace and the consolation that it did. So thank you, brother. Thanks, Dean, for calling Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We are very grateful for that. We're going to get to, Mary is next in St. Charles, Michigan, listening on Ave Maria Radio, and a first-time caller. Hi, Mary.
Hi. I don't know how to share really and summarize. Can you tell me how many minutes I have, and I will really ask God to help me really be brief, because my heart's pounding.
We've got full phone lines, so take whatever time you need. We want to try to get to Betty in St. Louis, because she's been waiting a long time as well. So if you can take 3 or 4 minutes,
Okay.
That'd be great.
Okay, I am going to just say this. Oh, God, help me. I have been praying a prayer since summer. God, please show yourself to me today. And I heard it at a funeral of a friend that died, that knew he was dying, and that's what he had his daughter read, that letter, at the funeral. And he said, I'm just asking every one of you who are here, just pray that prayer every single day. Please, God, show yourself to me. And he said, then go look in all the ways that God shows Himself to you throughout the day, and remember, God is love. Okay, so this past Saturday, and I'll just say since then, I have done that every day since that man died. His name was Bill. Every day, I don't know how to say this without crying, every day I receive a heart. Somewhere, it's either in my food, on the sidewalk, I see a heart every single day. I've been taking pictures of them because I believe that's how God is showing His love for me right now. But on Saturday, I've been praying novenas. I don't even know how I got this in my email, but I was encouraged by another Catholic who just switched from being a Baptist, and he came into the Catholic Church. And he said, the power of praying novenas, I am going to encourage you to pray a novena. And he said, start small. Start with St. Therese, the little flower. So I downloaded the app on my phone, and I've been praying novenas before this, and I was actually still praying before Saturday. I was praying the respect to life and St. Thomas Aquinas novena. So I added one more. I'm recovering from surgery, and it's such a comfort for me to pray right now. And I prayed the little flower novena. I was on my knees praying the novena. And I just asked some simple requests from my heart. And I'm not good with technology. I just asked that I would get help knowing how to use this printer with my smartphone. I am not good at technology. I got up off my knees and I pointed my phone towards my printer, and my printer started printing all the documents I needed. I was so excited and so grateful. But that was exactly when I got up off my knees. The other thing that was happening, there was a UPS truck in my driveway. And I saw the UPS driver, and I told my husband, I was upstairs, and I said, there's a UPS driver in the driveway. Long and short, I just told my husband he was going to go out, and I said, I didn't order anything. And he said, well, I didn't either. My husband came back in the house. He said, Mary, it's for you. And he said, it's somethingflowers.com. And I came downstairs and I said, oh my goodness, Phil, you got me flowers. And he said, Mary, I did not buy you flowers. Why would I buy them online when I can go to a florist and bring them to you? And it occurred to me what I had just done in my room in prayer. And I started crying immediately as my husband, he didn't understand what was going on. And my husband opened up the box, and there's a beautiful bouquet of lilies. There's no return address on the box. And my husband's like, well, I wonder who's sending you flowers, Mary. And I'm looking for a card. And inside the box, this is what the card says. It's a Bible verse. I looked it up. It's from Isaiah 46:4. I am he who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you. Love God. I don't know where the flowers came from, but I believe it was all connected to that novena. I don't know how to process this or share it, except it's so real. My sister wanted me to call the florist and find out who sent them. My sister's been away from the Catholic Church for a long time, and she wanted me to call to find out who sent them. And I said, I didn't really feel like I needed to, that I needed to see them or find out who sent them. And that's her own journey. I just felt in my heart it was from God. But at the same time, like I said, I was doing the novena from St. Thomas, and I was on day 8. And after my sister had said that, I don't have it right in front of me, but it's something like St. Thomas says, those that have faith need no explanation. And those, I don't know how the rest goes, but it's like an explanation would never be enough or wouldn't be possible.
Right. I'm familiar with Mary. Forgive me, Mary. We're going to run out of time here. That we're going to hear the closing music in about 30 seconds. I want to start by issuing Betty to you a personal gold leaf embossed engraved invitation to call tomorrow. We're going to do part 2 of this topic. Betty, you've been waiting a long time. We had just tons of calls today, as you can tell. So Betty, please, if you call tomorrow, Ryan is notified, hereby notified. He'll put you on the program very first thing. But Mary, as for you, God is concerned with all the things of our lives, and you mentioned, your phone, and you wanted to get that printer working. And some people would say, well, that's not something God would concern himself with. Yeah, of course it is. All of the things of our lives, every little breath we take, God is concerned about. He's counted the hair on our heads, and you have been given some very, very beautiful graces, Mary. Hang on to these and let these sustain you as you go forward. We can hear the joy in your heart, and you become very emotional about this. I think it's God has blessed her in many ways.
And it can be overwhelming, Mary, because it's happening to you very quickly and you're trying to process it. So just rest in it and let the good Lord reveal his continued plan, because he has a plan. We know that. And Mary, thank you so much. You could email us and continue the conversation as well at take2@EWTN.com. Hope and Betty and the others, please call back tomorrow. Ryan's going to put you at the head of the line. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day. See you real soon.